this week's edition of Quick Takes on Enterprise Security with myself, Brian Phillips. I want to discuss one more COVID-related topic before I move on to other things. This topic's been widely debated across the industry, so I've left it alone, but I think there's some facts to share if you are looking for one of these systems. And the topic that I'm going to talk about is fever detection via thermal imaging cameras. Now, my intent here is not to sway you one way or the other. It's purely just to give you some facts about the technology that may help you if you are looking at this technology, or maybe help you even rule it out or push you across the edge to adopt this technology. One thing that I want you to know is that thermal imaging cameras are not new. I personally have been using them on the fire department for well over a decade. Even the use case of using this technology for skin temperatures is also not new. It's regulated by the FDA. It's seen as a medical device, and as such, it needs to be registered and approved by the FDA before it can be used by the public. These systems that are used for skin temperature are not the same thermal imaging cameras that I've used on the fire department or they use to look at the electrical systems and such. These have a higher degree of accuracy, and usually you could tell the difference by the price tag alone, as these medical devices usually cost a lot more than some of the less accurate ones. With that said, the FDA has released a statement amidst the COVID pandemic that they will not be objectifying to any of the technology that's out there or is coming out there for screening around the COVID use case. And the reason that they're doing that is in an effort to not hamper this technology and make it widely available. So the good news is that you can get your hands on this sort of equipment if this is something that you're trying to do. The bad news is there's a lot of products out there that just don't meet that same criteria that's required for skin temperature scanning, and there's a little recourse at the moment to take those products down. So what I wanted to do this week is just to educate you on what the difference is between those two technologies. So along with the guidance from the FDA, even though they've said that they will not object to these systems that are coming out around this use case, they do still have requirements, performance standards for what is a valid camera for skin temperature. And that includes an accuracy with a temperature variance of a half a degree Celsius or 0.9 Fahrenheit. So if you think about it, that's less than 1 degree. It's pretty good accuracy, but a lot of the products that are out there, especially the cheaper ones, if you're comparing, they've got a variance of 4, even 5 degrees. This is crucial to pay attention to. If you are looking at one of these systems, the difference of 4 to 5 degrees can be the difference between an effective system or not. If you think about someone who's got a fever of 104 and you've got a 4 or 5 degree variance, they'll be coming in registering 99 or 100, and they'll be allowed to come in by your scanning standards when they could in fact have a fever. So if you are going to look at these systems, I can't stress enough, you want to pick one of the systems that have that small degree of variance, less than 1 degree Fahrenheit or Celsius. Those are the systems that you want to use. Those are going to be the most accurate. Now, one thing that I also want you to keep in mind is that accuracy is just as good as the environment that you're in, which needs to be a pretty close to perfect environment. So just keep that in mind before you purchase this technology. Where are you thinking about doing this screening? And is that environment, can you control the variables in that environment to give you that best accuracy? Also keep in mind, different things can change that accuracy as well, right? If you're planning to screen people who are maybe driving up to a gate or something, or maybe have just gotten out of their car and just simply walked just a little further, having the heat or the AC in their car blowing on their face can change their reading. So just keep that in mind as well. Another thing to keep in mind, these systems are not a set it and forget it. They need to be calibrated. They need to be maintained. Again, the more accurate ones, they are a significant cost for something that you may only have temporarily. So just keep that in mind. Now, I don't mean to discourage this technology. You may find that this is suitable for you, and that's great. I'm of the mindset that even if you're screening out a little bit, it's still better than screening out nothing at all, right? Some of the last considerations that I want to talk about, which you've probably already known, but it's good to just talk about real quick is, of course, some or many COVID patients do not display symptoms at all, so they are not going to be alerted by these systems. There's also a window of which you can track the disease versus showing symptoms at all, even if you will have a fever. It's usually at least 2 days, 2 to 14 days, so you could have it but just not be displaying symptoms yet. It's also important to keep in mind that there are also other conditions, even non-contagious ones, which may cause a fever as well. So just alerting that a person has a fever is not a diagnosis that they've got COVID. They could have something else going on. And there could be privacy implications around them being willing to share with you why they have that fever that's outside of the COVID use case. That's all for today. If you are using these cameras and you've got some additional lessons learned, I'd love to hear about them in the comments, or if you have any other feedback. That's all from me now. I'll see you next week.